All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Wire Sports Media. And today is what, Tuesday? It is your Takeover Tuesday edition of Live Wire Sports Media, and I'm your host. So, we're going to talk about some Project B. Yes, we're going to talk about Project B. I did a video a couple days ago, talk about the list of people who's going to be on Project B because they're following them. Now, it doesn't necessarily always mean because they're following them, but it's been kind of B is becoming pretty interesting to see this played out because guess what? One of the names that it was following, and I'm signing with Project B. Yes, and I'm signing with Project B. And there's no other than who? Jockwell Jones. Oh, Jockwell Jones. Yes, she is the latest acquisition to Project B. Now, Jockwell did took to her social media and wanted to talk to the fans.
Hey Hoops fans, it's your girl JJ here. I am super ecstatic and super honored to announce that I will be joining Project B to be able to continue to play against the best players in the world, play with the best players in the world, and be able to see new parts of the world. So let's get it, Project B!
So yeah, so you see that, you hear that, Project B has landed they their newest acquisition. Now, me personally, I said before, they they're not only going to get domestic players, but they want to get international players as well. Because the fact of the matter is they need to have you know, when you play abroad across seas, you want to play the best. And there's going to be a number of people that's going to be joining Project B, not just the people in the WNBA. Now, there's only been what, 3 WNBA signings? Jones, Thomas, and Umake. So, but now let's fast forward a little bit because Elena Baird, she was on Sarah Spain's podcast and she was talking about Project B. She was talking about how Project B is different from a lot of those um things, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's take a listen real quick.
Sort of the Bay Area. I spent about 2.5 years out there. And during that time, I just met some really great people who had a vision of kind of acquiring those expansion rights to a WNBA team. And it had always been my desire to own, right? And I was always in the mindset of not being a face and a name. I I'm so against that. I've always wanted to attach my name and my work to anything that I decide to engage with to see an outcome. And that's just always how I've been kind of just set up. And so the opportunity came around for me to join this group that was pursuing kind of the rights. And I jumped in and I led it with the understanding that the moment that Joe Lacob and his team put their name in a hat, my dreams would be crushed. But what I couldn't allow to happen was that to influence my learning journey. So I decided to move forward with it. And I'll take credit for it and I'll take it. It was my push that pushed Joe Lacob to put their names in a hat to acquire the expansion rights to the Valkyries, right? And to see that organization flourish the way that it has within their first year of existence is not surprising.
Yeah, little
right?
assist,
Little
assist from Elena.
I'll take it, right? They may not say it, but I'll take it. But it's just been beautiful to just watch them kind of move with sort of the intent and focus and precision that they move with on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's been a really beautiful rollout, really incredibly impressive first season. You're not interested in bringing a W team to any other city then? That part of your desire to expand the league is no longer there?
My desire is to grow the global footprint of women's basketball. That has always been my desire. I took that opportunity sort of in the Bay Area, but I also approached 2 other teams, right? Had a legitimate proposal in place, and it was either a no or it went ghost. And that's fine, right? But what that taught me is that there are different paths to ownership. And when something is meant to be successful, there are a few things that have to work. One is good people. Two is the actual idea. And then three is the timing of everything. And so Project B came into the picture at the right time. And then those other two things just lined up. And it just made sense for me to jump into this because I am a huge believer in players having equity and ownership in the things that they create.
Yeah.
And that's what we're building.
So I want to stop right there for a minute because that's, to me, this is very, very interesting and very, very telling because it seems like she wanted to bring a team into the WNBA. And apparently it didn't happen for her the way she thought she was. Now, if y'all don't know who Alana Beard is, she spent a lot of her time overseas and she played in the W as well. But I like what she said. She said, when things don't align and things don't go to where you want it to go, it seems like you have to take opportunity somewhere else. So I think she wanted to have stake into the W, be a owner in the W with a team, having an ownership of a team, and it didn't pan out the way she thought it was. So she took, she took this opportunity with Project B. Now her focus is solely on that. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I want to get to that part of it because it's a really different model. Project B's been in the works for a couple years now. So tell us exactly what it is, what this women's league that you're going to roll out in November of 2026 will be.
Yeah, no, I think I want to correct you there because it's not just the women's league. We're starting with the women first because it's about time we put the focus on women first, right? But this has been something that we've just been head down, kind of in the trenches for 2 years. This is not something that just happened overnight, right? We have a legitimate team in place that have been working underneath the radar to build out something that is sustainable and global. It all stems from Jeff Prentice, who is the co-founder of Skype, and then Grady Burnett, who served as the CEO of global sales for Meta for like, I think 11 or 12 years. In fact, he came in when revenue was at 100 million. He scaled that to a 10 billion revenue within a 12 or 13 year period. So I only say that to say that I get to be a part of an ownership group that understands disruption and who understands scale on a global level. And so this was an idea that the two of them came up with over dinner. And then they just started digging in for 6 months straight, just literally analyzing the entire market and what they came to understand that there are 3 billion plus basketball fans around the world. And within the United States, within kind of the two main leagues, the W and the NBA, they're only tapping into 10 to 11% of that global fan base. And so there's so much untapped market outside of North America that we believe is an opportunity to come in and build something that is extremely sustainable, global, and competitive, and just really unique. And so Project B is a platform.
Uh, to me, that is important too, because if you look at the NFL, what the NFL and Major League Baseball has been doing, they have been spanning out more to the global market. They trying to tap in now. They can't get the players, but they tapping out to the global market to be more wide world. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, ESPN we used to be the wide world leader of sports. So therefore, like that. And I said this before, going back to last year, that the WNBA needed to go international. They need to bring more international players into the league. They need to expand that footprint out there, not just the W. See where the W has been messing up for, they want to keep everything domestically, and then the players just want to go over there to make money off of the other countries instead of stretching the footprint out, allowing players to come in, but give more. If the WNBA had grew from the beginning when it started becoming more successful and reaching out to the global market, I think they would have been far along ahead of the game. So when you had players like a Caitlin Clark came in, all they had to do just add to it. They don't have to worry about their market value being the sole revenue of the league. The league will already been generating. They just added more star power to it and continue to push that into a global atmosphere.
And that is F1 style, right? It is our intent to host 2 weeks tournaments in 7 different cities throughout a season when you think about F1, you think about how they go from city to city to city and they aggregate these points depending on their positioning, but also kind of like who's the champion. At the end of that season, they eventually crown the champion of the world, right? And that's exactly how we're thinking about this thing. So to your point about us starting, or this being a women basketball league, no, we're starting with women with every intent to launch with both men and women in Q4 of 2026.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to the men's side because I know that that's where the first sort of public rumors about Project B came out was about the men, but I know that that's not on hold, but the women are the ones taking shape quicker and are more publicly being spoken about now. So when you talk about those 7 2-week tournaments in the major cities, Asia, Europe, the Americas, is the champion at the end a team?
Yes.
One of those 11 player teams or an individual?
Exactly. The team will be the winner. Yeah, thanks for that clarification.
Yeah, cool. I mean, you played basketball in, I think you said 27 countries when we chatted. So that's a lot of international experience. How did that influence your decision to be a part of Project B, and how is it influencing your leadership on the project?
Oh my God. It's extremely influential. When I think about kind of my time internationally, there is nothing that I valued more than the experiences, right? In those cities, immersing myself into the cultures and building the relationships. And so when Grady approached me about Project B, when he started talking about the global nature of this thing, I was like, yep, nope, I'm in. Right. That's all I needed to hear. Of course, I needed to hear a few more things, but
Benefits. What's my
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there and everything like that, and I'm going to leave that podcast link in the description box so y'all could go to. It's on Apple Music. I mean, well, Apple podcast is called Good Game with Sarah Spain. Check it out on Amazon. You could, like I said, I will leave the link into the bio so you could go back and listen to all of it. I think it's very good information. I think it's something that we have been waiting for, to listen to what the whole overall view of the WNBA. I think now she did say one part in there because I caught it on X. She did not say. She said specifically she's not in they're not in competition with no team. It's not even the WNBA. But I do believe, if this is my belief, I do believe that Project B and the WNBA might end up be working together in the future. You know what I'm saying? Because they have the players, they have the money. Get it? They have the players, they have the money. So if Project B and the WNBA, because see, nobody really talked about that. Why the Project B and the WNBA can't coexist? Well, they could be a footnote for each other. The WNBA wants to go international. Project B could provide international and still have some of the players there, the domestic players there. So the only thing that's going to hurt is on Rival and Athletes Unlimited. But Athletes Unlimited really play later in the year anyway. You know what I'm saying? They play like around about May, I think so, March or May, something like that. So they weeks don't matter too much. But on Rival, I think it'll hurt them. I don't see it much hurting the WNBA as much as people may make it to seem to be. I think Project B and WNBA could coexist, and I won't be surprised if they work together in the future. Hey, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy, Live Wire Sports Media, your Takeover Tuesday edition. If it ain't live, it's The Wire.